Hey guys, good afternoon, everybody. Today is Monday, November 14th. It is 2:01 right now. Our scheduled mentoring session is for 2 p.m. So we're just a minute over. I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick and then we'll get started shortly. So for the session today, we're basically going to be focusing on the high-low momentum on the 1 minute. That's using conjunction with the pivot scalp. And just the high-low momentum basically on Forex pairs, and also the high-low reversal. So just give me a few moments to finish setting this room up and then we'll get started shortly. A few more things here to update. All right, that's good. All right, solid. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. And we should be able to get started shortly. All right. All right, so I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in. I'm going to put a list up here. So topics to cover today is during the session. So let's see. All right, so first topic is going to be the high-low. High-low momentum pivot scalp. I'm just going to put it all together. It's easier that way. 1 minute time frame. We'll go over the high-low momentum Forex 4-hour, 1-hour time frame. And go over the high-low reversal strategy. So I don't know if I'll move forward with the strategy. You know, I come up with a lot of strategies because I have a lot of ideas, but I don't necessarily go through with all of the strategies. So for this one right here, I mean, I like it, but it's still subjective. It's kind of similar to like the high-low quick scalp because when you're basing entries off the high lows, it repaints. So I don't really like this one as much. I mean, it works. Like, don't get me wrong, it works. I'll show you guys how it works and how it's applied, but it's not one that I really like applying because it's hard to test. The best strategies to really focus on would be the strategies that are based off the momentum signals, because once these are on the chart, they're stuck on the chart, like they don't disappear. So they don't repaint once they've appeared on the chart. So with this strategy here, or with any strategy that uses the momentum signals, you really have like real results. Like if you look back, you'll have real results. You don't even have to rewind the chart because it'll be there, right? So for me personally, I like all strategies that are based off the momentum signal because this will show you true wins and true losses. And from there, you'll have a starting point, and then from that point, you can always improve and add requirements so that you don't run into certain losses. So I'm going to revamp a couple of these strategies. I think I'm going to add the trend to the high level momentum strategy because I feel like it is necessary. I try to keep it as simple as possible before, but I think this is better because it's going to increase your probability of winning versus, just taking every single trade. Because the thing is, you're not going to be able to take every single trade unless you're on the chart 24 hours a day. So we'll start off with this strategy first. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And then we can cover whatever you guys need help with. But for the most part, these are going to be our main topics for today. So what I'll do is I'll basically look over entries. I'll look at some entries here as we move along, and then I'll go back and I'll review the entries that we took this morning. I'll show you guys a couple of things to look out for, like when to avoid entries, and then I'll show you examples for when to take them and be okay and confident with your entries. So I don't see any questions right now. So anyways, good afternoon, everybody. If you guys are just joining, it's about 2:07 right now. Today's Monday, November 14th. Our scheduled mentoring session was for 2 o'clock. It's 2:07, so we're a few minutes over, but it's fine. So now that we've got that out of the way, we'll get started with the first topic for today. So first topic for today is going to be the high-low momentum pivot scalp. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to make a little changes here. And I'm going to save this as high-low momentum pivot scalp. I'm probably have to clean up my strategies over here because I got way too many things on here. A lot of stuff we don't really use. So I'm going to have to make some changes and delete some of this stuff. But for now, we'll just use this here. So I'm going to call this high-low momentum pivot scalp. The only difference that's necessary here is that we're going to add the requirement for trend. So first you want to identify momentum signal, draw high-low before momentum, confirm rejecting, add one more requirement here. Confirm direction of trend using pivots plus trend meter. And I think that's about it. Stop loss. And this is the difference too, because we're using a tight TP stop loss since it's on the 1 minute. So we'll go back to the 100, 300. Note, avoid entry if candles are iffy. Consolidation. And consolidation. And I think that's about it. I don't really see anything else here. If I see anything else that needs to be added, we'll refer back to it. But I think for the most part, this is pretty much it. So, okay. So this is the high-low momentum pivot scalp strategy. It's literally just a pivot scalp entry, but you're using the high-low momentum as a confluence. So it's pretty much just two strategies incorporated into one. Not super difficult. Let me see if I can find an example over here. So we have one over here. I'm just going to go and rewind it. This is just a few minutes ago. So this happened at 12:43. It's 2:10 right now. So this happened like towards the end of the session. I typically wouldn't enter the trades here. But we're just using this for an example. So looking at the requirements here, first requirement, you want to identify a momentum signal, right? So looking at this candle right here, there's a red vertical line within it. So this is going to confirm that this is a momentum signal for a sell. This indicates that momentum is going downwards, right? So that's going to be requirement one. Requirement two, you want to draw a zone at the high-low before momentum. So before this momentum right here, the high is at this point. So you're going to go and draw a zone right there. Once you have that drawn up, you have everything lined up. So we have requirement 1 met, requirement 2 met, requirement 3, you want to confirm momentum rejecting off the high-low zone. So you have the zone right here, you have the momentum pushing away from it, that's going to be the rejection. So that is going to fit the criteria right there for requirement number 3. For requirement number 4, you just want to confirm that you're trading in the direction of the trend using the K2 pivots and trend meter. So with the pivots over here, these pivots are indicating that we're in a downtrend, right? The reason why you know that is because the main pivot right here, the strongest one's going to be the red one. This is pivot level number 4. They go in degrees of strength. So level 1 is orange, level 2 is yellow, level 2 is green, and level 4 is red. Basically 1 to 4. Typically, when red is above all the pivots, this indicates that price is in a downtrend. When they're spread out like this means it's in a strong downtrend. Vice versa, when the red's below and the pivots are above it, this is going to indicate that it's in a strong uptrend. So with that said right here, this will confirm that price is in a strong downtrend. And again, just a reiteration of that, the red pivot is pretty much over all the pivots and all the pivots are angling down. The second confluence that you can use for the trend would be the trend meter. Looking down here at the trend meter, the settings for the trend meter are all set to chart. So you just want to focus on what's going on the 1 minute. So looking at this right here, they're all set to chart. This shows you what the 1 minute trend is. Trend meter is red, pivots are angling down, red pivots on top. This is going to confirm that it's in a strong downtrend. So with that said, the 4th requirement here is also met. For the 4th requirement, you want to enter on the close of the momentum candle. So right here, you're going to go ahead and enter your sell position. Your profit target is 100 pips. Stop loss is 300 pips. I know a lot of people don't like the negative risk reward, but we're not taking this trade because we're expecting to lose. We're taking this trade because we're expecting to win. We just need some cushion right here in case price decides to retrace a little bit, especially if the candle is too big, because there's no way you can do 100, right? This is not even going to cover the spread. So that's why we have it kind of pushed back a little bit. And this is a proven method, right? We've been doing this for years. I've been trading live using the same method live for years on years. So you guys will see that this actually does work. This isn't something that I just kind of made up and I was like, okay, this works. We've been using this live for years, and you guys can go back and rewatch the videos. This risk reward does work. So with that said, you have the trade run, let it run, and drops down to full TP. And this is how this strategy is applied on the 1 minute for US 30. So there's one requirement, right? There's one example right there. I can see another one right here. I'm just going to rewind to that real quick. Same requirements. Identify momentum signal. We have a sell momentum right there. Draw a zone at the high low before momentum. You have a zone right there. The third requirement, confirm the momentum is rejecting off the high low zone. This right here is pushing away from it. There's a rejection. 4th, confirm you're trading in the direction of trend. Again, right here, pivots are angling down. Red pivots on top. The rest of pivots are below. Trend mirror is also red. It's in a strong downtrend. 4th, or let me change this real quick. Sorry. This has got to be 5, and this has got to be 6. All right, so going over the requirements again, identify momentum, sell momentum right there, draw a zone, zone's right there. Confirm momentum is rejecting off the zone, it's rejecting off right there. 4th, confirm trading the direction of trend. Right here, we have a very strong downtrend. Enter on the close of the momentum candle. Same situation again here. Enter the short position. Enter at that point. TP is 100. Stop loss is 300. You let the trade run. And there you go. Full TP on the next candle. So it's pretty simple. If there's any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, I think we're pretty much good to go for the most part. We have another one up here. So these are like 3 back-to-back wins right here. I'm just going back to every momentum signal. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to show you why this isn't an entry. So let me go ahead and clean this up. So let's go over here to these requirements. Identify momentum signal. We have a sell signal right here. Draw a zone at the previous high. Third, confirm momentum is rejecting off the high-low zone. You can see right here that this momentum is not touching the zone, right? So it's not rejecting off it. With that said, requirement 3 is not met. You can't move on to the next requirement. So this is not an entry. Let's go back to the next one right here. Replay at this candle again. Same thing, and you guys can see the repetition here, right? You're not really doing anything different. You're just confirming that the requirements are met. Once they're met, you can pretty much enter the trade. So again, right here, identify momentum signal. You have a sell signal right here. Draw a zone at the previous high-low. The third requirement, confirm momentum is rejecting off the high-low zone. We have this momentum signal right here pushing away from the zone, fits requirement number 3. Requirement number 4, confirm trading in the direction of trend. You can see pivots over here are angling down. Red pivots on top above all the other pivots. Trend meter is also red. It's in a strong downtrend. That said, you enter the short right here. Same situation, 100 pip TP, you're in a pip stop loss. Everything's set, you let the trade run. Retraces a little bit, comes back down, pushes down further, full TP. So as you can see right there, this is a very simple strategy. You have one win right there, no entry. You have another win right here, another win right there, 3 back-to-back wins towards the end of session for the New York trading session. So pretty much 3 back-to-back wins right there, solid wins, no losses, straight to TP. So there goes the examples right there. If there's anything that you want me to cover, anything that you guys are confused with, let me know, and then we can go over it. I'll show you an entry over here that you would most likely avoid. So we went over some good entries right here that were pretty easy because price was pretty straightforward. Let me show you a couple here that are a bit tricky. So this one over here is a buy entry. And I could already tell why I wouldn't take any trades here. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I can tell directly just by looking at how the candles are moving, right? So if you guys couldn't tell what's going on right here, price is in consolidation, right? It's pretty simple. I mean, I guess it's not very simple. It's simple for me because I've seen it a lot of times, but you can see right here that price is pretty much in consolidation right here, right? There's nothing really going on. So for all of these buys right here that came up, I would skip them completely. You can see that if you did take any of these buys here, this one, I don't know, let's see if this one maybe would have won. This one might have maybe just won, but this one over here, these two would have been losses. So this one might have been a little iffy. Like maybe you would have taken this one. Let me check if there's a sessions there. Let me just go back real quick, see if there's anything around here that could have. I mean, you can tell right here. So if you go back a little further, let me just go to this candle here. You don't see the long range of consolidation, but you still see this consolidation range right here. So it's realistically, it's still ranging, right? Not really ranging, but consolidating. So ranging is fine. You guys can take trades and prices ranging, like for example, let's see how far is this pushing right here. So you see how this is going back and forth, 300 pips. This is barely any movement. So you definitely don't want to take trades when price is ranging like this or consolidating. Let me see how far is this moving down here. It's about the same. You could probably skip this one too. This over here is in a bigger range. So this is also in a range, but it's in a big range, right? So this is different. When price is ranging, but price is actually moving around a lot, this is fine because you're going for 100 pips. You can make a quick TP, right? So this range, 300 pips, compared to this range right here, this is like almost 1,000 pip range. You can still take your trades here because there's enough movement for you to like get in and out of a trade. So for this one right here, this would be a decent range. There's another one right here, and I'm going to show you why this one here is not a good entry. Is because if I replay back to this candle right here, you gotta like look at it from like when you're taking the actual trade. So it's different when price is ranging like this, but you can see at this point, price started to range a little tighter. Right? This is the tighter range at this point. You measure this right here. It's not really moving too much. It's just like the other one's moving 400 pips. So what you want to do is you want to measure your range. If the range is kind of tight, tight's going to be considered maybe 30 to anything under like 500 pips is going to be a tight range. Anything below 400 is for sure just a no-go zone. So if you guys have any questions identifying this, let me know. I know it's kind of hard to see if you're not like comfortable with like identifying the range, but you'll typically see high lows come up a lot and they're going to be around the same level. So like, for example, right here, see how these high lows are on the same level? They're like so close to each other. You don't want to take trades around these points. Right here, same thing. Right here, same thing, right? When the high lows are pretty spread out, like this is typically how you want to take the trades, when the high lows are like actually high lows, right? So we have a high here, you have a low here, high here, low here. So this right here is not a good area. But when price pushes away, we have a low, high, low, high. This is the type of direction that you would be okay with trading in. You just don't want tight consolidation where you're going to get caught in some back and forth movement and some fake outs. So that's basically the main red flag that you want. I mean, aside from the other red flags like sessions, news price, opening price, and that's about it, right? The vertical line, horizontal lines. Aside from those red flags, the other red flag would just be consolidation phases like this here. It's just too risky. I mean, you're going to find wins here, but they're going to be risky wins, right? Like, for example, if you wanted to take this here, actually, I wouldn't even take this trade because it's not really, you still have to confirm the trend. So if you're looking right here, I mean, it's pretty obvious that price is going sideways. So I would have skipped this one here. And then also there's just no trend. Like the pivots aren't angling. The trend meter is blue. It's just not a good entry. I mean, if you were to take this trade here for a buy, actually, this doesn't even fit criteria. So, I mean, either way, this still wouldn't fit criteria here because it's not even rejecting off the zone. So you wouldn't take the trade there. Same with this one over here. There's another buy signal. I think this does actually meet criteria, but you would still probably skip it because it's going sideways, right? So there's a buy signal right there. And it would have hit stop loss, but you would have known to skip this because price has been going sideways right here. This is kind of like the earlier, oh, actually, this is the entry from earlier this morning. This happened right here at 7:30. This is the one that we skipped. This is the one where I said, okay, I was going to wait for it to come back up. It didn't come back up, but it finally did right here. And then when it did come up, it did hit my TP. Like immediately. So as soon as it shot up right there, the entry was actually down here. It would have blasted up and hit TP right away. So if there's any questions regarding the strategy, guys, as you guys can see, it's very simple. It's not very difficult. I mean, you can technically apply this all throughout the day. The only problem here is that you got to really understand when price is consolidating. So during Asia session, it does consolidate a lot. You basically would have to measure each candle to see, you know, how well does it work during that period, because you want to have enough time and space to take these trades. So let me see if there was one yesterday during Asia session, just so that we can use, I could show you an example of like how it works. I typically don't trade during Asia, so you wouldn't see me take these trades during Asia. So that's why I don't really recommend it. But it's not necessarily something that you need to avoid. I mean, because there's a lot of good entries here. So here's one pre-market. This was at 3 a.m. London session. Let's check it out real quick. Actually, so this right here was ranging a bit. Let me just check the range here. So price was in a bit of a range right here. Let me measure it real quick. See how much of a range it was in. Yeah, this is way too small. It's ranging like 200 pips, which is nothing. I mean, if you wanted to take this entry here, this still fits criteria, but it's such a tight move that, you know, obviously I wouldn't take the trade there, even though it doesn't look like it should play out. So this would have been an entry right here. Actually, I take it back. This wouldn't be an entry because looking at the pivots right here, it's not even in a trend. You want to confirm you're trading the direction of the trend. Right here, the pivots are actually bearish right now, bearish or neutral. The trend meter is bullish, but it's not a good trend. So, I mean, I guess I could still see if it plays out because I'm sure it does. It still plays out, but this would be considered a risky entry. This is why you're not going to find too many entries here during Asia because there just isn't much movement. Let's see this one right here. So here's another one. Show you one more example. And this is something that you guys can test out if you guys want to. So again, right here, zone right there, sell signal, it's rejecting off the zone. This is obviously in a downtrend. Pivots are angling down. Red pivots on top of all the other pivots. Trend meter's red as well. Enter your short position right there. 10:30. Got the setup right there. Let the trade run. Full TP on the next candle. So sometimes you'll find good entries like this. Sometimes you won't. It just depends on like how bad the range is. Like for example, right here, the range wasn't horrible, but it would still, I mean, the range is pretty bad right here. I probably would have skipped it. Let me measure real quick. This is the range right here. Most of the time you're going to find price in a range. But when it's in tight consolidation, that's where you definitely want to skip it. Yeah, it's still too tight, 300 pips. I would skip this trade, even though it would have won. So there goes the example of the high-low momentum pivot scalp strategy. As you guys can tell, it's very simple, not too difficult. You just want to make sure you're trading in the direction of the trend. I'm going to add this as well to the actual high-low momentum. You know, the two main things that you want to follow would be trend and momentum. So. Just adjust this a little bit right here. Change that right there. So that's good. All right. So I think this is pretty much it for that strategy. If you guys have any questions regarding the strategy, you know, drop them in the chat and then we will cover whatever you guys need help with. Yeah, I'll send it to you right now, Maddie. So this is for the scalping one, and this is the regular. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just slightly different. I'm going to add this to this one too. All right, I'm going to update this real quick. Maddie, I'm going to resend you this because I just updated it. It's just the last one. All right, slightly updated. I'm gonna send these to the group too, just so that you guys have. Maybe updated requirements right here. And I'm gonna add this as well. All right, guys, solid. So I got the requirements right there posted. I've gotten over the pivot scalp. Maddie's asking the second one you sent is for our timeframes. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's basically the same thing. It's just for the pivot scalp, it has a set TP stop loss. For the other one, it just has a 101 RR. So for the higher time frames, basically, because you have the bigger movement. All right, cool. Question from Jonathan. Jonathan's asking on the 10-minute, is that when we use the one? Yeah. So the scalping strategies for scalping, this one's for pretty much all the other time frames. It works well in the 10-minute, but I got to find a way to. Might have to mess around with the trend meter a bit. So we can go over some examples here on the 10. I think so. The main problem with this here is that the candle is too big. So for example, this one here is like way too big, right? This candle. This would meet criteria for a buy, but it's just way too big. So I would use this probably as a confluence, not an actual entry. This is 1,820 pips. It gets close to it, but not quite. You know, it starts to reverse. Like you get really close to your full TP, but then it reverses. So there might be some criteria that we have to look at to avoid it if the TP stop loss is too big, because US 30 isn't exactly one of those types of assets. It's not like Forex where like this thing goes on forever, right? This thing can easily just shift at any moment, especially during New York session like today. There's a couple entries here that I guess could have played out, but I mean, for the most part, you probably want to set this to like some specific time, like times to trade it in. Like Asia, but not on a Sunday. So Asia over here, you can see prices. I mean, it was moving super slow, like literally all day Sunday. And I guess this goes hand in hand with what I just discussed, right? So like right now, we still have that requirement when I said don't take trades and prices consolidating. It's obviously consolidating right here, right? So even though there's a sell entry right here, trend meter is blue, pivots are not really that strong for a downtrend. It isn't a downtrend, but it's not very strong. You still would have avoided this trade. So there's a couple pitfalls here that you might need to look out for. And this isn't just for this strategy. It's like literally for whatever strategy you guys apply. You should always understand to never trade when price is consolidating, right? So price has been consolidating right here. You have another entry right there. Price is still in consolidation. The trend down isn't very strong. This probably doesn't play out, but we'll see. Let's see. Yeah, this doesn't even work out because price is just going sideways. So price pretty much consolidated all throughout New York session. This right here, it looks like there's a big spike down, but this again, this does not look like a good entry because if you look at the pivots here, the pivots aren't even angling down at all. The red pivot's still on bottom. Trend meter's red, but pivots here aren't angling at all. So I would have skipped this one. Also, the candle's too big. Candle's like a 600 pip move compared to the other candles. No entry there. No entry here. This red candle right here, it's also not a downtrend. This is something that people are gonna have to work on, because just because price is below the pivots, this doesn't mean that price is trending down. In order to determine if price is trending down, the pivots have to look like this. Let me just. All right, so this is a downtrend right here, right? Red pivots on top, all the pivots are below, they're spread out. This is a downtrend. Again, right here. This is a downtrend, right? Red pivots on top, rest of the pivots are below, price is angling down. This is an uptrend, right? Red pivots on the bottom, level 4. You guys can call it whatever color you want. I typically have mine here where it's like green is white. I mean, green is level 1 and level 4 is red, because this kind of it shows you like what's leading and what's not. So like, for example, here, red pivots below level 4, or if you just want to call it level 4, you don't have to call it by color, just call level 4. If level 4 is below, everything's above it, it's trending up. Vice versa, the opposite for trending down. So, yeah, if you want to see an example, let me see if I could find one for you, John. There's nothing that happened today that was good. Maybe this one this morning, but not necessarily. I mean, the stop loss it's still way too far. So like Maddie said, it should be capped around 1,200 points or even 100. Yeah, I think 1,000 to 1,200 is probably going to be sweet spot, Maddie, because this is just way too big. If you hold on to this, you know, that's a huge move. This can go on forever and it'll just reverse on you. So if we go back to like yesterday, let me just move this stuff over real quick. All right, well, I deleted everything. So let me just go back over here. I'll see if I can find one from last week. Okay, so here's one from last week. So even this one right here is still too big. So it's 1,888 pips. Or 1,880 pips. So like right here, same situation, but this is actually a really good trade because price is actually moving, but you can see that it's too big of a move. So that might be the case, Maddie, where we should cap it. Maddie said we should cap it around 120 points or even 100. I think that's a good idea because the thing is, even though you're not going for pip wise, it's like if you're holding on to this trade for so long, especially for US 30, it's not a good asset to hold on to because this can easily just reverse on you if it's overextended. Typically, when it's pushed out more than 1,000 pips, it's overextended like by a long shot, right? This is already pushed down 1,800 pips. So this right here, it still does hit TP, but it makes it super risky, right? Because you're holding on to this trade for, let's see, for about over 3 hours during New York session. You know, when price starts to go through its mid-market reversal, because this is typically where it happens. Luckily, this one actually hit TP, but if you go to mid-market reversal, it'll typically start going the opposite way or consolidate super heavily. So this one here does hit. I mean, this one over here does hit too, the one before it. So there's one there and there's one right here. But I think this one's even more overextended. So this one over here, this is actually 2,290 pips. That's an extremely big move, right? So this one here is even bigger. You can see how far it goes into drawdown. It goes into drawdown extremely. That's why it's important to put your stop loss far enough away. But it goes into drawdown 2,000 pips. It's a big drawdown. Eventually, it does come back down, but you know, at what expense, right? You're probably sweating, literally tripping out, waiting for it to hit your TP. So this is something that I wouldn't want to hold on to because you'd be in drawdown 2,000 pips. Yeah, eventually it'll hit your TP, but you know, you gotta play your cards right. Like if you can't handle this type of move, even I can't handle this type of move. So I wouldn't expect you guys to, unless you guys really don't care. And you guys are taking like a very small lot size. You know, we don't even have 2,000 pips in our chart over here. I think the farthest Maddie went down to was like 1,000 pips. Yeah. So you wouldn't even have lot size right here proper to use if we were taking that big of a move. So probably cap it at 1,000 pips. Anything bigger than that, probably just want to skip it. Let's see this one right here. I mean, the trend down on this one wasn't very strong though. And this happened during Asia session. Yeah, Jonathan said the scalping version seems safer. Yeah, and I agree too. The difference with the scalping is you just want to make sure that it's not too small. So scalping, you want to make sure the move's not too small. For the intraday move, you want to make sure the move's not too big because they're both kind of iffy. Maddie said we have an entry here on NJ. So give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to go and analyze this Forex pair real quick. So this is our odd JPY position. You can see, so I'll show you when our entry came in. So we had our entry over here. Price was actually looking good for a while. It was kind of coming back down right here. So like for like 4 or 5 hours, price came back down. And then over once we got closer to London session, price just spiked up like 700 or not 700, 70 pips. And then it went straight to stop loss. So unfortunately, this one was a stop loss. I took it with a 1% risk, so it wasn't really much of a loss. You just got to make sure that you take them with proper risks so that you guys don't end up getting caught on the wrong side of the market. It did look good though on open. So let me just show you real quick my analysis of it last night. Just want to show you guys where, I mean, basically where I went wrong. All right, so at time of entry right here, typically when I'm scanning for these Forex entries, I'm looking at all of the different pairs that align with it. So for example, here, things to look for when taking so first thing you want to look for is confluence among both currencies. Make sure I mean, that's pretty much it. There's not really much to really like look at here. The trend doesn't really matter too much because you're looking for strength in both currencies. So here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. Like, for example, right here, if you're taking an odd JPY position, when price goes down, I feel like a lot of people don't know this. When price goes down, this means that the second currency is stronger than the first currency. So it goes in weight. So when price goes up, this means that the AUD is stronger because it's worth more than the JPY. When price goes down, that means that JPY is worth more than AUD. So when price is going down, like this acts like a scale, right? Typically a scale is going to be flat like this. But when one is heavier, it's going to be worth more. So when price is going down, this means that the JPY is heavier. So this is going to be stronger in currency. When price is going up, it means the opposite. The AUD is heavier. So the scale is weighing this way. And you want to make sure that all of the all the AUD pairs are also strong. So for this one here, right here, since you're looking for the JPY to be stronger because you're looking for a sell, typically what I'll do here is I'll look for the other JPY pairs, make sure they're all going down, right? So this is just rewinded to this time period. We have odd JPY here, CAD JPY. This was also looking like a sell. Or shit, my bad, guys. Let me see. I don't think this. Okay, so I don't think I can show you guys this example because when I change to different pairs, it's going to reset the time. So what I'll do right now is I'll look at NZD JPY because Maddie told me that there is an entry here. So let me just go over here real quick, NZD JPY. There's an entry that's currently running right now. This is real time. Okay, so I showed you guys where I mentioned I was going to show you guys the high-level momentum strategy right here. So let me go over here real quick and let me just show you. This is a real entry that's like running right now. I'll show you what I'm looking for. So basically right here for NZD JPY, we're going to look over. So here's one thing, Maddie, that it's not a huge issue here, but the trend here isn't really strong for a downtrend, right? Price was up, so you can see the red pivot's actually in the middle. Typically, you want this red pivot, level 4, to be on top of all the other pivots to indicate that it's in a strong downtrend. It's not a big deal on Forex on the higher time frames because this can easily shift. So if price does drop further in the next couple candles, then the pivots are going to follow. The pivots are a laggy indicator, so it doesn't really tell you that price is trending down until it's really confirmed, right? So the big red flag here for NZD-JPY is that it's not in a strong downtrend, or even in a downtrend at all, right? Trend meter is blue. The pivots over here are not angling down. I mean, they're starting to angle down right here, but they're not necessarily like this, right? They're not like they're not like the pivots over here where they're angling down, right? Pivots on top, level 3, level 2, level 1, and price is pushing down heavy. This right here is working towards it, but it's not there yet, right? So you can see right here, the red pivot hasn't really gone above yet. It's still in the middle. So you still want to wait for these to actually come down and confirm. So that's one of the main red flags here. But anyways, let's just analyze it and I'll show you what else I look for. So basically right here, first requirement, momentum signal. Second requirement, there's a zone right here. Third requirement, this momentum is pushing away from the zone. Fourth requirement, confirmed trend. This is actually not met. So with this not being met, it's going to be difficult for us to take this trade here. The difference with the higher time frames is that it's not necessarily really it's not required as strong it is on the 1 minute, because the 1 minute moves faster. So you're going to see the trends develop a lot quicker. If you're looking on the 1 hour and 4 hour, these trends are sometimes going to be sideways for a while before they're confirmed. So with that said, this does look like an okay entry, not a great one, but an okay entry. But back to what I was saying earlier. So for example, we're looking for a sell here. So if we're looking for a sell, we're anticipating the JPY to be stronger than the NZD, right? So what do you want to look for to make sure that this is going to play out? You want to make sure that the JPY is actually strong across the board. So what you're going to do next is you're going to go over to odd JPY. You're basically going to look at all the pairs where the JPY is number 2, right? It's second in the pair. You can see right here, it's kind of coming down as well, but it's not very strong. CAD JPY, this is definitely strong. So this fits the criteria. Price is coming down. This indicates that the JPY is strong. Right, go down to Euro JPY. Right here again, it's not very strong. It's still going, it's just going sideways. So the JPY is actually not very strong right now. It's not too bullish. It's kind of neutral right here for the other pairs. It's neutral for odd JPY, Euro JPY, GJ here, it's actually bearish. It is bearish. So there's a couple pairs here that it is bearish for. You can see prices coming below. The reason why I can see this is bearish is because the red pivot's on top and then all the other pivots are below. So this indicates that it's in a downtrend. So this is bearish. It goes in alignment with our NZD JPY, and looking over here at UJ, same thing. So it looks like there's 3 pairs here that are bearish, 2 pairs that are neutral. So it is neutral bearish. It's not a very strong bearish bias, but it is neutral to bearish, which could possibly mean that price is going to come down. One thing that you want to keep in mind too here, Maddie, is that there's high impact JPY news coming up right here. Typically, I don't really care about the news. I'll trade for Forex because it doesn't really affect it as much as US 30. Where it'll have like big spikes. It'll probably have like a small spike, sometimes a big spike. For the most part, not so much, unless it's like some huge news event like this right here, right? This is inflation news. Of course, this is going to spike price. This over here, it was consumer sentiment, not really much of a big push. Right here, we have GDP growth rate. So this is probably going to have a big effect on the market. So that's what I would typically look at. So first, I would look at this. This would be the main pair because we're looking for a sell here. We want to make sure the JPY is strong. This is probably like maybe like 6 out of 10 strong JPY pairs. Once you have that, you'll look for the secondary pair, which would be the first pair right here. You want to make sure that the NZD is weak. You want to make sure it's weak so that the JPY can take control and it'll just continue dropping, right? So if you look over here to NZD, just make sure everything here is also going down. For NZD CAD over here, it's actually going up. So this shows that the NZD is actually strong. Looking over here at NZD CHF, this is actually going in conjunction with the JPY. The thing with JPY and CHF, the Swiss franc, they're both safe haven currencies. So when the economy is not doing good, these usually gain in strength. So we're going to a recession, right? CHF is going to be strong, JPY is going to be strong, gold is going to be strong. Those are the 3 safe haven currencies. So like typically those are like assets that you could hedge against the US dollar. So if the US economy is going to shit, buy JPY, buy gold, buy CHF, because these are safe haven currencies where typically, they'll hold value if the US is not doing so well. So Looking at NZD CAD, this doesn't fit criteria. NZD CHF, this does fit criteria. NZD USD, this doesn't meet criteria either. It shows that the NZD is actually strong. So with that said right here, I don't think this is I don't think the NZD is even a good pair to trade because they're all kind of different. NZD USD, see Maddie said that this one's doing a little better. This actually isn't even in a downtrend, Maddie, so I don't know if I would take this trade here. So you can see right here, there was a sell entry that came up over here as well. It was like a pretty hard flop. Came down, came back up. Oh, for a buy. Okay. So Maddie said actually for a buy. So let me see this real quick. So he's talking about this entry right here. Let me check real quick. Yeah, the thing that you want to keep in mind, guys, is that it's still Monday, right? So the forex market isn't, I mean, it's in full swing, but it's not really moving in full swing yet, right? It's still kind of slow, and it's going sideways. So Maddie over here identified this as a buy for NZD USD. Let's go over the checklist again. If we're going to be buying here, we want the NZD to be strong, right? We don't really, I mean, we care about the USD, but we care more so about the NZD. We want to make sure that this is strong so that this can hold and it'll continue pushing up, right? So looking at this right here, if you guys have my watch list, I already have it organized. Like I have it set up like this. So you can literally just go down the list. You go to NZD CAD. This is bullish. Okay, this shows that the NZD is strong, right? That's good. NZD CHF. This right here shows that it's weak, right? Against the CHF. But the thing is the CHF goes opposite of USD. So you can't really use this as a confluence because they're kind of opposite pairs. NZD JPY, this one's going sideways. So it's kind of difficult right here. This doesn't really have much of a influence in the position for NZD USD. And then NZD USD right here. So the next thing that you want to look at, since we've already identified this and looked at the NZD as not very strong of an asset right now, it's decent. It's like neutral, but it's not very strong. The next thing you can look at is the USD. You want to make sure that this is weak. So go over here to USD. We'll go to odd USD first. You want to make sure that this is going upwards. It was going upwards, but it's now going sideways, right? So it was going upwards for a while over here, but price is actually consolidating now. So it's going sideways right here. Not really much of a direction. Next, we'll look at Euro USD. This is also going sideways. So there really isn't much direction here. I don't really see any good entries. That's going sideways. GU, same thing. I mean, it's starting to shift to the downside, but it's realistically, it's going sideways. So the USD doesn't really have much of a direction. USD CAD over here, same thing. Price is kind of going sideways. It's starting to shift above. This would actually not be in favor for NZD USD because for NZD USD, you're looking for a buy. You want the US dollar to be weak. It's actually getting stronger right here. So when price goes up, that means that the first pair over here is gaining in strength, or the first asset compared to this one right here. I know it's a little difficult initially because it doesn't really make sense. You know, a lot of people think, or a lot of people don't realize that these have correlations, right? So, you know, when price goes up, this shows that pretty much the US dollar is kind of gaining strength. Let's go down to USD CHF. So this right here is a given. We already knew this is going to come down. So this is why I kind of started banking on Forex again, because we're going into a recession, right? So if we're going to a recession, I already know what pairs to trade. I'm going to trade a CHF for against the US dollar. So USD CHF, I'm going to be selling this a lot. Same with USD JPY. I'll be selling this a lot too. Price is going down, right? Why is it going down? We're going to a recession here in the US. These are safe haven currencies. So like basically you want to buy gold, buy JPY, not buy this, don't buy this pair, but you want to buy JPY. If you were buying JPY, you're going to sell because this is paired against, you know, the US dollar is pegged against JPY. So you want to sell this, but you would want to buy assets that are in favor of JPY. So looking at this here, Maddie, I mean, this looks like it could be okay, but the thing is, the NZD and USD, these aren't opposite of each other. Like if you wanted to trade something specific for like USD pair, you'd want to trade something like USD CHF or JPY, right? These would be one of the main pairs to trade if you're trading, if you're trying to trade against the US dollar. Typically, you want to trade something opposite. These aren't necessarily opposite. They kind of move sideways together, NZD USD. Same with odd USD. That's why it's going sideways right here. Yeah, I know it's a lot of information for you, Maddie, because I never really, so the thing with me, Maddie, is I never really taught Maddie the Forex side of things. I kind of taught him more of the US 30. So he doesn't really know this stuff as much, but he's learning. So that's a good thing. And, you know, you guys are here to learn too. If you guys have any questions about Forex, this used to be like my bread and butter. Like this was like my main thing that I would trade. So I know a lot of stuff about the Forex market. I know what's opposite. I know what's similar. I know what has a conflict with each other. You know, I even have these here. So like typically, so here's what I would do too, Maddie, and I'll show you guys this as well. So what I would do sometimes is I would peg this against the asset, right? So for example, Maddie over here wants to take NZD USD, right? So if he's taking NZD USD, I want to make sure that the NZD is strong, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and pull up ZXY, which is the New Zealand dollar index. This is just the New Zealand dollar by itself. So if this is going up, then this is going to be good for Maddie's position. The only problem here is that it's not going up, right? It's going sideways. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff for you to learn here still, Maddie. And, you know, I'm here to help you out. I'm here to mentor you. This is why I kind of didn't like Forex too much, because it's a lot of work. It's like, it's more work than trading US 30. You have to like peg this with a lot of other stuff. You know, if you wanted to trade this here, you also might want to take a look at the dollar. Let's see, Maddie said if the ZXY was going down. Yeah, if this here was going down, Maddie, then this would go opposite of your position. Because if this goes down, this means this will go down too. So it's going to pretty much screw up your entire position, right? So what you want to look for here, like if you're taking this trade here and you're looking for a buy, you want to see this go up, and then you want to see the DXY, which is the dollar index. You want to see this go down. Exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of like a puzzle. It's a puzzle. Like the thing with the Forex market is that it's kind of like a puzzle where you're using confluences, right? You're kind of like weighing stuff on this side, and then you're weighing stuff on this side, so that you can, like, say, for example, if you're to look at, like, if you want to see how good the US dollar is, you'll basically open DXY over here, and then you'll pair it with the JXY, which is the yen, right? You can see here that the dollar is super weak and the yen is kind of strong, right? This means that the dollar, you know, this is a safe haven currency. So you basically peg this against the dollar. So if you see something like this going on, this is going down and this is going up, odds are gold is probably going up, right? So you look at gold over here, and what do you know? It's going up, right? Like I didn't even have to like look at gold. I already knew gold was going up because I just looked at the pairs here. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said gold is going up because DXY is going down. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, Maddie. Yeah, it's easy. This is how you would trade currencies, right? If you want to trade something on the higher time frame, the problem with this here is that you can't use this with US 30. I've been trying to find a pair that aligns with US 30. A lot of people say Euro USD is one of them that lines up. I don't think that's the case. People have told me this in the past, but I don't think that's the case. I mean, it looks like it kind of does correlate a little bit, but not really. Right? Because US 30 here dumped down a lot. US and Euro USD still going sideways. I mean, it does have similarities, but it's not the same. It's not as like aligned as like as the other currency pairs. But yeah, I mean, yeah, basically, I mean, if you guys have any questions regarding this stuff, I could help you guys with that specifically. Let's see, Maddie said US 30 and DXY look opposite. Yeah, basically. Yeah, no, I mean, they kind of do, Maddie. It's just US 30 is a lot. It's not as smooth. So you can see how US 30 here has like these big spikes, because you get these random movements with the US 30 market. It's not exactly the same. So I don't think there's an asset that you can mirror US 30 with. So I don't really add this into the mix. I only use this for when I'm trading, Forex pairs. But yeah, so I mean, let me see. I'm trying to figure out what we left off on. I think what we were going to go over was this strategy here. So I basically went over it already. Let me see if I can find another example here. And then we'll go over on the higher time frames. Let me just go down the list real quick. Let me go here on the 4-hour. I'm going to go see. So there's an entry here that I marked up on OddCAD. It hit full TP. I'm going to keep going down the list here, see if there's anything that we could possibly take. I typically look at the 4-hour first, and then if I don't see anything on the 4-hour, then I'll go down to the 1-hour. Odd NZD, no entry there. Odd USD, nothing there. CAD CHF, nothing there. CAD JPY, nothing there. Nothing there. Euro odd. Wrong thing. Okay, there's a possible entry here for Euro odd. So I'm going to mark this up right here. I'm not taking it yet, but I mean, this candle still has 3 hours left. So I'll have to come back at 6 o'clock to check it. But we'll keep an eye out for it. So we'll keep an eye out on that right there. Okay, so this is what I'll do here. I'll use the same analysis, right? This candle here hasn't closed yet. It's pending. We have the high over here, drew a zone. If this closes as a sell signal, this is going to be a rejection off the zone. This is going to fit the criteria for an entry for a sell. You move the stop loss at the previous high. Your TP is equal distance away, 700 pips, or sorry, 70 pips. So once you have this set up here already, you guys can see there's a pending entry. Once you guys have this set up, the next thing that you want to do is you want to look at pretty much all the euro pairs, right? Because if you're looking at this drop, you want to make sure the euro is weak all across the board. So what you'll do here is you'll look at the other pairs. Y'all just basically open 2 boxes again. So we're looking for a sell here. Let me turn on the pivots. I think that's pretty much all we need here. Let me change this to chart. And you're just looking for confluences here. So you want to look at a confluence of direction. So basically, you're looking for a sell for Euro odd. Euro CAD here is going up. This doesn't line up with the confluence. Euro CHF is actually going down. So this does line up with confluence. Euro GBP is going sideways, slightly going up, doesn't line up with the confluence. Euro odd over here is coming down, or Euro JPY is coming down. Euro NZD is going sideways, and Euro USD is going up. So for the US Euro pairs here, this doesn't look like a good entry. What you want to look for next is to look at the AUD pairs, see if the AUD pairs are actually going up. Because if these are going up, then this will be okay with your entry still, because this is going to show you that this is probably going to come down. So AUD CAD is going up. Accidentally. I hate when I accidentally click this right here. Let me add this symbol again. Sorry. AUD CHF. Drag this up real quick. Okay, so AUD CHF. This is going down. This is not good. AUD JPY, this is going down. This is not good either. AUD NZD is going sideways. AUD USD is going up. So for this here, just from my perspective, I don't think this is a good entry. Reason why I don't think it's a good entry is because nothing's really going in the direction of confluence. The euro isn't weak and the odd isn't strong. So I don't think this is going to be a good entry. I'll probably skip this one. Let me move on to the next one. Euro CAD, nothing there. USCHF, nothing there. EG, nothing there. EJ, nothing there. Yen. You can see here from the market, not much movement's really going on. It's kind of just going sideways. There was an entry here for GA. Looks like this already hit TP. I actually showed this to Maddie last night. This would have been a good one, Maddie. It's actually still running, but it's too late to enter. It's halfway to TP. So I actually showed this entry to Maddie yesterday. Should have taken it, but it's all good. So nothing here. GCHF, GJ. This doesn't meet criteria. GN, GU. No, that doesn't meet criteria. Nothing there, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. All right, so I don't see anything here on the 4-hour. Let's leave that alone. This one's still running right now, actually. And 4, 3. This one's almost at TP. NZD USD for a buy. Yeah, so there's no entries here on the 4-hour at all. Just fine. But let me show you the strategy. So this is the same strategy that I showed you on the scalping. This is just on a different time frame. So let me show you an example here. Just go to this candle here. It's easy to look at. Let me put the requirements here for, I can't go over all the requirements because obviously we can't check back in time that far, but let me just show you here. So first, identify momentum signal. We have a buy signal right here. It doesn't matter if it's valid or invalid. You just need a buy signal. You draw a zone at the previous high low zone right there. Confirm that the momentum is rejecting off the zone. It's rejecting off it right here. Take this for a long position right there. Stop loss is set right there at 132 pips. Once you have this set up, you just want to confirm you're trading the direction of the trend. You can see the pivots over here are angling up. Red pivots on bottom, rest of the pivots are above. Trend meter is green, very strong uptrend. Once you have this set up, you let the trade run. And there you go. Price kind of goes sideways for a bit, but eventually it does push up and hit full TP. So this is the strategy. It's a super simple strategy. I think when I revamp the course, this is probably going to be the only strategy I'll be focusing on. The other strategies will still be available for you guys to review and apply, but I'm going to be focusing on basically one strategy, basically this one and the scalping one. So basically the same strategy, just on different time frames. So if you guys are wondering if I revamp of the course, I just want to focus on like two main or just one strategy with a small variation to it so that you guys can apply it on literally everything. So this is probably gonna be my main focus moving forward. So if you guys have any questions about the 4-hour, let me know. The same exact strategy. It's not very difficult, very easy to apply. And there's not too much guesswork. It's literally just plugging and playing. Let's go over to the 1-hour. All right, 1-hour for GJ over here. Let me see if I could find any entries for you guys to take here. All right, so here's one right here. I'm just gonna go, it's the closest one. Same thing, right? Same exact criteria, same requirements. Nothing really changes, just a different time frame. Not the scalp, the regular. So identify momentum signal. We have a sell signal right here. Draw a zone at the previous high low. There's a high right there. Confirm the momentum rejecting off the high low. Momentum right here is pushing away from it. Confirm trading the direction of trend using pivots and trend meter. So looking at the pivots right here, pivots are angling down, red pivots above all of the other pivots. The trend meter down here is also red, so that fits criteria. Everything here points towards a sell. You enter a sell position right there. Stop loss is right there. 537, 53 pips right here. Let the trade run. Kind of goes sideways for a bit, retraces, but eventually it makes its way back down to full TP. So super simple, not too difficult at all. Let's see, question from Becky. Becky's asking if I can take a look at USD CAD. So for USD CAD, Becky, what time frame do you want me to look at? Was it the 4 hour or the 1 hour? I'll look at both so we can just take a look. So USD CAD, I don't see anything over here on the 1 hour. So you might be talking about the 4 hour. Okay, so this is what you were talking about right here, right? So this right here, if you weren't using the trend requirement, this right here still wouldn't be an entry. So the reason why this, or actually, no, you're right. This could possibly be, it's really difficult. When it's really close like this, I would just skip it because you don't want to have to zoom in at super zoom, right? Just to see that it's like barely touching it right there. So if you zoomed in really close, you can see that it's actually rejecting off it. But for me personally, I would just skip it because if it's that close, it's 1 minute. So I don't think you could trade this on the 1 minute, Becky, because if you're trading this on the 1 minute, you're not going to be able to cover spread. But I mean, we could take a look anyways. I don't think you could trade Forex on the 1 minute unless your broker gives you 0 spread. My spread right now is 2 pips, right? So let me just show you real quick. Let me see. So let me see if were you talking about the buy right here? Because I do see a buy candle right here. Or if you were talking about the sell. Let me see, your question came up. Okay, so you're talking about the sell right here. So for the sell right here, this could technically meet criteria, but it's not a really strong downtrend, right? The trend meter right here is red and the pivots are starting to angle down, but it's not enough for you to really confirm that it's in a downtrend. Let me just map this out real quick. Let me see how this also, so you can see the pips right here. It's like almost impossible to take the trade, right? Because the pips right here are 2.8. My spread's 2. Where'd my spread go? Yeah, my spread's 2.6. So like you wouldn't even be able to cover the spread here. If you were to enter this trade, you would already get stopped out if it goes anywhere in the negative. So for Forex, unless your broker gives you like a 0 spread, I have a pretty tight spread on mine because I'm actually using a liquidity broker with forex.com because I have a bigger account. So like they give me like the tightest spreads that they have. It's almost impossible. Like I wish you could trade on the 1 minute on Forex because it's really easy, right? You'll see a lot of these moves here. Like a lot of these here will actually, like they'll almost always hit. The only problem is that you have to cover the spread. So looking at this right here, it's 2.8 pips. And if my spread is 2.3, my entry would actually be like right here, which is some BS, right? So you're going to try to enter this trade here and your entry, like say if you enter a sell, you're actually going to be entered right here. So the problem with this is that if your stop loss is 2.8, if you go anywhere in the negative, like even just 1 pip, you're going to get stopped out. So this is why I don't scalp for Forex. If you do scalp on Forex, you have to go on at least like the 15-minute or even the 30-minute. I mean, it looks like it's still feasible, but it's not really the best pair to like scalp with. USD CAD's a really slow moving pair. If you want to scalp for Forex, you probably want to use something faster, something like Euro odd, right? This is maybe one of the pairs that you can trade with. So EA over here, if you're applying it off this one, looks like there's one still running right here. So if you're scalping on here, I mean, this is still kind of a big move, but if you're scalping, you typically want to go for at least like 10 to 20 pips. This is like 31 because this is a faster moving pair. It's still running right now. But this is kind of risky actually. You might want to use something that's like, I'm trying to think in my head because I used to scalp US 30 or not US 30 Forex before too. I would do something like Euro USD, maybe even the 5-minute. Yeah, so like this one right here, this is what I used to scalp on when I used to scalp. You can see that the spread's still kind of wide. It's 2.3, but it's not like horrible. Like you can probably still make profit off this. So here, Euro USD on the 5-minute. You have the zone right there. sell signal right there, enter the sell right there. It's still kind of tight, but it's not, I mean, it's workable, right? You can work with it. So if your spread's, let me see, my spread was like 2 point something right now. So if that was the case, my entry would actually be right there, which kind of sucks still, but I mean, it could be worse, right? TP stop loss is right there if you were to let the trade run. So you'd be stuck in this position right here still, Becky. So like looking at this right here, your entry would have been up here. So you actually would need to push down a little further, another 2 pips to actually just get out. You'd be screwed in this trade because you'd be stuck in it because of the spread. So you actually would have entered this trade in the negative right here. Or not really in the negative, but you'd have to cover some profit here before you make some profit. And then it would have hit your TP, but you actually wouldn't get closed out. You would still be stuck in the position because your spread here is like 2 pips. It's actually 2.5. So you have to cover this much to get out of the trade. You'd be in profit, but you won't, your TP would not get hit because you still got to cover that spread right there. So if you do want to trade, if like scalping is doable on Forex, it's a little difficult because you have to find the good pairs to trade. And you'd have to trade on maybe the 10-minute. I think the 5-minute is still kind of too tight. So you probably want to trade on the 10. Yeah. The 10 over here. Yeah, like this one right here. 10 looks solid. 17, 20 pips right there. And if you're scalping on here, you probably want to do something like we're doing for US 30, right? You want to have a fixed TP stop loss. And probably stick to like a certain time frame. Because for example, right here, if you're trading this during Asia session, it's going to be super slow. If you took this trade last night, you would have gone burnt. Would have made you some profit here if you had a set TP stop loss, like maybe 10 pips. Whenever I scalp, I just have a set TP stop loss. I don't use the whole 1-to-1. I mean, it's nice to use a 1-to-1, but it's kind of difficult, especially when it's like when the market's not really moving. I mean, sometimes it'll be moving, sometimes it won't. I guess it just depends when you're trading. So this right here is a London session. This is actually a good time to trade. The thing with Forex is if you guys want to trade Forex for scalping, you have to actually trade during its session. So I wouldn't trade this during Asia. You can see right here during Asia session, it just goes sideways. You trade during New York session right here, it actually picks up. So this is 6:50 this morning during the live session. There's actually some good entries that you could have taken here. This one right here, full TP. This one right here, full TP. I think the main thing is you could trade. So I would typically trade Euro USD anytime aside from Asia session. Asia session, I would typically trade like odd JPY, AUD USD. If I'm sure you're familiar with like the time zones, right? Or the sessions, Becky. AUD USD, it's typically the market between 2 and 10 p.m. And then midnight until 6 a.m. is going to be London session. 4 p.m. till midnight is going to be Asia session. So you typically want to trade like an Asian asset, like odd JPY. This is good during Asia session. EJ, GJ, something like that. All right, cool. Yeah, so no problem, Becky. If you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. I know we haven't really touched on Forex too much. I have a lot of information on Forex though. So if there's anything that you guys need help with regarding Forex, I can probably answer whatever you guys want because I've done a lot of research on Forex. Before I got into US 30, I've been trading Forex for like maybe 5 or 6 years. So I have a lot of info on Forex. And I still, the same information still applies still today. Let me see if there's anything else here. So I think that's pretty much it for the high-low momentum strategy. I showed you both the high-low momentum So I showed you this one, the high-low momentum pivot scalp, which is for US 30 on the shorter time frames, 1 minute. I also showed you guys the regular high-low momentum on the 4-hour and 1 hour. I don't see any entries, so I couldn't really show any examples at the moment. So I showed you these two strategies. The third one I wanted to show you guys was the high-low reversal. So as I mentioned for this again, and I'm going to show you guys the downfall for this strategy. I really like the strategy, but the strategy does have a lot of issues. The reason is because it mainly repaints a lot. And the thing is, this isn't really a trend following strategy. This is it's a price action strategy because you're looking for reversals in the market. So let's get started. Basically right here, let me see if I could find one that came up recently. Oh, right here. So like this works on like a lot of time frame, on basically whatever time frame too. Let me just go over here real quick, replay. Okay, so when you're looking for sellers, you want to look for a low with a red candle and a high with a red candle, right? So looking at this right here, I just went back to the most recent high low. This low over here is a red candle. And this high over here is a red candle, right? So this fits the criteria for a sell. Once you have this right here, you're going to enter on the close of the candle, which should be right here. Stop loss would be set at the high, which should be right there, 53.4 pips. Once you have that set up, you let the trade run. The reason why this is a price action strategy is because you're looking for reversals in the market. You're basically looking for a low with the high. I mean, a low with the red candle, a high with the red candle. This is basically showing you that the bears are in control, right? Because price got to a low, sell momentum as it was in favor, right? Your price just retraced a little bit. You got the high with the red candle. This indicates that, okay, price is probably going to come right back down because it's going to correct back down to where it's supposed to go, right? You have that set up right there. You let the trade run. There you go, full TP on the next candle. So there goes an example of it working right there. Here's another one right here. So let me just replay to this candle. There's actually two that are back to back right here. So when you're looking for a buy, you're doing the opposite. Instead of looking for a low, you're looking for a high because you're looking for price to retrace up. You're basically looking for, so the starting point is here, right? You have a high with the green candle and you have a low with the green candle, right? It's the same thing, but you're looking in the opposite direction. So what you're doing here is you're looking for a reversal. Basically, price pushed up right here. It retraced down. Once it's retraced, what do you think is going to happen next? It's going to go right back up and fill this gap right here, right? So you have the high here with the green candle, low with the red candle, or low with the green candle. So you're basically looking green and green, red and red. You have both green right here. You're looking for this reverse up and swing right back up, right? You enter a long position right here. Stop loss is going to be placed right there for 66.8 pips. You let the trade run. There you go, full TP. Gets really close to the stop loss, but it doesn't actually touch it. It gets super close, but it actually misses it by, it just comes down, fakes out, shoots right back up, straight to full TP. So there goes one entry there, and there's actually another one right next to it. So again, right here, you have another high right here with the green candle, and then you have a low with the green candle right there as well. Same situation, you enter a long position again right there. Let the trade run. 72.2 pips. Let it go. Full TP. So it's a super basic strategy. I mean, it's not even that difficult. It's just, it's price action. But the thing with this here is that my indicator basically is your cheat code. Because the thing is, if you don't have my indicator, anything could be a high, right? This could be a high, this could be a low, this could be a low, this could be a high, this could be a low, this could be a high. It could be anywhere. If you turn on the indicator, though, it takes out the guesswork. It's like, okay, avoid all the noise right here. There's no high lows anywhere right here. The low's actually down here. But let me show you a pitfall of this strategy. So, all right, let me go back over here real quick. So this is why I don't like this strategy. The strategy is good when it works, but sometimes when you're in a choppy market, you're going to get screwed over because you're going to keep looking for the wrong entry. So for example, right here, I'm going to show you that a high will come up But the problem with my indicator here is that it repaints. So see how there's a high right here? I mean, there's no entry, but I just want to show you how this high here keeps changing. So there's a high right there, and it keeps pushing up, and it disappears. So now there's another high. So when do you figure out when the actual high is there, right? It doesn't actually establish. You're kind of like, oh crap. You know, you enter at any of these points, and then you just end up getting screwed over and over and over again if you're looking for an entry. There's actually no entry here, but I was trying to show you guys that, you know, these high lows, they continue to repaint. Okay, let me show you another one right here. So I think this would be a better example. So we have a green with a high candle right here, right? So the thing with the strategy is that there's probably something that I could add to make the strategy better. Like maybe the trend, right? We could probably use the trend meter, or you could identify the trend. Maybe if we have something like that, then that will help us avoid taking like dumb trades. I haven't really worked on the strategy too much, so I can't really tell you. I'm like purposely looking for a bad trade here so that I can show you why the strategy is not a good one, or why it's not perfected yet. Like it can be perfected. I just got to work on it a little more. So for example, right here, we have a high with a green candle, low with a green candle. This would technically meet criteria for a buy. All right, so stop loss is right there, 586. Let the trade run. You get stopped out, right? So you get screwed right here, you get stopped out. This is what I was just talking about. You kind of get screwed over because these highs here aren't established. I might have to just add a requirement here to help with this. I just don't know what requirement to put in yet. It might have to do something with the momentum signal, because that's probably your best option. Okay, there's another one right here. The thing with this though is if you take every entry, you're going to balance out. The problem with most people is you're not going to take every entry, right? I know most people are not going to take every entry because they're not disciplined enough to take every entry. The strategy is good long term. I've tested it and it works good long term, but you have to like really take every entry. So this is something that would be good automated. So for example, you lost a trade there, you would have won this one right here. If you're taking the same risk, 1%, you would have been back at break even at this point. So it's not necessarily a bad strategy. It's just not what I would consider like best strategy to be used. I'd have to figure out to incorporate something here with, I mean, for the most part, probably momentum. But I just haven't figured it out yet. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I don't think I'm going to be working on this strategy very much. If there's anything that if you guys want to test it out yourself, you guys can, because it does work well. The only problem is that you have to take every entry. So the thing with this strategy is this would be good if I can automate it. My brother's actually working on a script right now for the high level momentum. We're going to pretty much automate it so that we can back test every single entry on every single asset. And then this would probably be the next project for him. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, because typically if I look at the charts enough, I can start to see patterns on the chart where I know what I need to add to make the strategy better. I don't think the momentum is going to be useful here because the momentum doesn't really last that long. At that point, you might as well just take high-low momentums versus these high-low reversals. All right, guys. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat right now. Otherwise, I'll probably be wrapping this up soon. We've been on this mentoring session for a little over an hour and a half. And I pretty much covered the most things. So I'm going to go reiterate what we covered for today. And if there's anything else that you guys want me to cover, just feel free to put it in the chat. I'm free to stay on the chat for as long as you guys want. But I'm just gonna topics covered today. So first, we covered the high-low momentum pivot scalp. I know the names are a little different, but it's basically the same strategy with an extra confluence. So the high-low momentum pivot scalp, high-low momentum strategy, higher time frames, and then the high-low reversal strategy. I think there's a lot of room for growth applying this specific strategy, the high-low reversal. It's just based off price action. The thing is, I don't really trade price action by itself. So if there's someone here that likes to trade price action, I mean, there's probably something that you can add to it. I can figure it out too, but it's just going to take me some time because I just haven't really taken a look at it. I think if I was to do something, I'd have to have some other confluence, like some other confluence to confirm that it's like an actual reversal. But it's something I have to work on. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email me or message me on Telegram. Tomorrow I have one-on-one mentoring session with David. I got to talk to David if we can like live stream it. I don't know if he's okay with it. If he's okay with it, we'll live stream it. If not, we'll do it privately. If you guys want to have a one-on-one mentoring session with me, just let me know. I know I typically don't do it. I actually stopped doing mentoring sessions for a while because I just wanted more free time. But then I had too much free time, and now I got a lot of free time, and I want to get back into making trading a routine for me. So, the thing with trading is like I actually like trading. So I thought free time would be good for me, but it's actually worse because I'm just kind of doing nothing all day. I've just been lazy. So I don't mind mentoring you guys, again, of course, free of charge. Typically I would charge for these mentoring sessions, but I like mentoring people. So I'll do it for free. So, get it while it lasts, because I don't know how long it'll last for it, until I get tired of doing mentoring again. Then I might have to charge for it. Or if we get too many mentoring sessions, then obviously we're gonna have to charge for it, because we're gonna have to put some value on it so that whoever really wants to have the mentoring session, we can host it. But okay, awesome. Yeah, so David said that he's open for it. So tomorrow I have another mentoring session with David. It's going to be a one-on-one, so there's not going to be any questions. But me and David will be having, basically a one-on-one with each other. So I think it'd be good if you guys sit in on it, because I'm pretty sure David has some good questions. We're going to basically drill down on like whatever he needs help with, and you guys can see if this is something that you guys want to do as well. My goal here is to make sure that you guys are all profitable traders. I make pretty good profit from just trading. So like helping you guys trade is just like, it's a hobby of mine. Right. That's the whole reason I created this community. When I first started trading, I didn't have anybody to trade with. And that's why I created K2, because there's just there's an abundance of like knowledge out there. It's just, you got to figure out the right person to learn from. I have a lot of friends who try to learn trading from other people, and it's just, they just haven't done well. So I'm here to help you guys out. So thanks, Becky. Appreciate it. But yeah, guys, so I think that's it for today. If you guys want to set up a mentoring session with me, just let me know. I just have to check my schedule, because my schedule is kind of all over the place. I still have a lot of other projects that I'm working on. I'm also going to revamp the course. So if I do have time, I'll squeeze you in for a mentoring session. If not, we'll still have these group mentoring sessions every week. So if you guys are wanting to just sit in on these sessions and just listen, then that works too. Otherwise, you guys are more than welcome to ask for help privately. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to message me on Telegram, or you guys can email me at sean@kodikaitrades.com. If you guys want access to the indicators and the strategies, just go on the website, kodikaitrades.com, click on unlock your free access right here. This will pretty much give you links to everything, depending on what you're looking for. If you just want access to the signals, live sessions, anything really. If you guys want to contact me, my email's on here as well. But yeah, so other than that, guys, I will see you guys here tomorrow for the next live session. Same place, same time, 6:30 a.m. New York Stock Exchange Open. and we'll pick back up for the rest of the week. So, all right, guys, other than that, I will see you guys